Hello folks, how you doing? Scotty.
They honor President Obama. ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS.
My views on Donald Trump is kind of mixed. And admittedly so, I can't say I know too much about the guy and what he stands for economically. People say, okay, he's ran his own business and stuff like that. But he's ran his own business under a corporatist regime, under corporatism, and of course, I don't know too much about his history. I can't say that he's been someone who's been lobbying government and he's been getting special favours, because apparently from what I heard in the past, his businesses were a failure.
I'm no communist, I'll tell you that right now. I believe a man should own his own house and car and cow. I like this private ownership, I want to be left alone. Let the government run its business and let me run my own.
And the only reason they were propped up is because of the corporatist system. In other words, in a corporatist system, what you have is these big businesses that make losses and then they're bailed out by the taxpayer so that the company never goes under.
Well, I'd just like to see a fair moderator. That's all I'm looking for, because, you know, we have a lot of very unfair people treating us as Republican and as conservatives. If you're a Republican and a conservative, you get very unfair treatment. Look at what the New York Times said the other day. They practically admitted it.
No, I don't know. I know nothing about his history. I know nothing about how he's ran business and stuff like that. But according to what was stated before, that I can only take from, is that he ran business where it was running at a loss, apparently. I don't know whether that's true or not. And his business was propped up by taxpayers bailing them out.
He founded ISIS. And I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Feel free to comment on your own opinion of the matter. I've not really got my views is I'm not really someone who I could sit and say I support him wholeheartedly, but I wouldn't exactly say I'm wholeheartedly against him. I sit on the fence with the issue on Donald Trump.
Government should allow Hillary Clinton to become president of the United States.
I can understand why people support him with regards to the current crisis that we see. And this is why I support Donald Trump in this regard.
Muslims are peaceful and tolerant people and have nothing whatsoever to do with terrorism.
Women are discriminated against in all of these countries she took money against. Gays and lesbians are either executed or punished severely. They're mistreated. She claims to be their champion.
Sure, I support free flow immigration. And I support the free market, as I have mentioned to people before. Right, I do support these type of things because I'm a classical liberal. I support the free market. However, it's kind of like the whole situation with what's been going on in, for example, Great Britain. And there was recent news, even in Germany, that there was news that they should bring in guns and give people the right to bear arms and protect themselves. This is something sadly lacking in Europe. From my perspective, I agree with Donald Trump in regards to the fact that, he supports a temporary control over immigration. I don't know whether this is something permanent. I couldn't tell you the information behind that. But with that being said, it's logical, in my view, to support controlled immigration when there's been a situation caused by government's war intervention. Governments caused the mess, they engineered it, and as a result of that, we are faced with a situation where we do have an element of people who do wish to come and harm us and cause death and destruction. You could not support having the free flow of immigration when you have the big welfare state and everything, and you know, something, probably certain states have higher tax rates than others. I know nothing about the tax system in the United States. I don't know how it works, but you could not support all of that and essentially have the free flow of immigration, because it puts strain on the people, the taxpayers, the people who work, and that's not the answer. So the solution to the problem, in my eyes, is really rolling back the welfare state, and I believe that that would take time. You couldn't just pull the rug from underneath people's feet. It just wouldn't work. And therefore the solution to the problem is really all down to, you know, rolling back the welfare state and bringing forward the free market, but most importantly, improving the education and creating opportunity due to the free market, and last but not least, giving the people the right to bear arms to protect themselves. You should have controlled immigration for a period of time until things can, you know, until over time that it would be safe and sound to at least have, you know, the free flow of immigration. At this current time, because of what governments have done, then it's not safe. And that's my personal view. I don't know what your view is on the whole thing. You know, if you disagree, feel free to. I'd be interested to, of course, hear what you have to say for yourself on the entire issue. So Donald Trump in that regard is why I support him on that. Because it's a very serious issue. It's a very, very serious issue. And it's why immigration was the main talking point on the European Union referendum. What are your views on that? I don't know what your views would be. I remember reading a comment somewhere on my most recent video, and someone had pointed out that he believes that at the end of the day you would not win votes if you spoke free market economics. That's partially true. That really is. Nigel Farage played that game himself. You know, he's a very intelligent man. And that could be true with Donald Trump. Now, I would more than love for him, you know, to become president and prove me wrong on many issues. The issues that I have with Donald Trump is the fact that I admittedly do not understand the ins and outs of what he supports economically, but I have been seeing certain free market type economists warning of him with regards to the protectionist, you know, well, the protectionist policies, especially on trade. Now, these are things that I personally do not agree with them upon. I do not agree upon the protectionist tariffs. That was something, and this is the truth, people. This is the God's honest truth. All it takes is an understanding of history. The last time we saw protectionist tariffs was Nazi Germany. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, he's a Nazi. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, however, is this was basically what the socialists used. This was something that was anti-capitalist, because capitalism is about free trade. Right? That's what capitalism's all about. Capitalism is all about free trade. It's not about bringing in government and setting protectionist tariffs. Right? But most importantly, and here's the problem with protectionist tariffs, if he does support that. Here's the reason why protectionist tariffs are dangerous. You might think to yourself, well, it's good to, you know, force people, consumers in your domestic economy, to buy products that are British or buy products that are American. I can see the logical argument behind that point of view. I can. I can see the logical argument for why you would want that. But the problem with protectionist tariffs is it causes war. Why? Because when you put a protectionist tariff on, you are preventing another country from freely trading with your consumers. That's what a protectionist tariff does. It hinders the market elsewhere. That's what happens. This is why I fall more along the lines in support of someone who is a free market defender, such as Nigel Farage. Because Nigel Farage understood the value and importance of free trade. That was the reason why he, protested in support of leaving the European Union. Because that's why the European Union is such a danger. Because it's strongly protectionist. And it does not benefit consumers overall. It doesn't benefit countries overall. So you could argue, you could say, well, what about TTIP, etc., and all the rest of this that you see through the European Union? That's not free trade. It's corporatist. Things like TTIP and, the thing that was mentioned the other day, I can't remember the name of the American version of it, but it's corporatist. It's giving favour to the big corporations over the smaller businesses, and it's got nothing to do with true free trade. Now, this is why I'm a bit concerned. Please tell me, does Donald Trump support the protectionist tariffs and stands against free trade? I don't know whether he does or not. But if he does stand against free trade, that's problematic. Because once you hinder the market, once you hinder another country from freely trading with your country, that is precisely historically what caused war. Because you're stopping another country from improving in its wealth. And that is the reason why the free market is the best. That's why you never see countries that are like, you wouldn't quite call it a country, like Hong Kong, it's a city, but places like Hong Kong or Singapore or Switzerland, you will see that they're better off. And what you will see is these type of places, and a country like Switzerland is a perfect example. Did you see the likes of Switzerland or Singapore or Hong Kong going to war? No, you never. You see, that's the difference. And that's the most important point that I wanted to basically address. So anyway, folks, I've went on long enough. I've given my reasons for my view on Donald Trump. I don't know about yourself. Maybe you've got a different view from myself. Maybe you've got some points that I haven't addressed or I may not understand. Feel free to comment and tell me your view of Donald Trump. Do you support him? Or do you think he's going to be disastrous? One thing I will say, however, is the fact that when it comes down to it, I support Donald Trump over the likes of Hillary Clinton for obvious reasons. And I do hope he sticks by his words in terms of lowering the tax rates. I really do. But if he was up against someone like Rand Paul, there is no way, not a chance, that I would support him over Rand Paul, I'm afraid to say. or a more libertarian candidate. Unless, of course, Donald Trump spoke a good word. And this is what I'm speaking about, because as someone rightly pointed out, they said, well, Donald Trump wouldn't win votes if he spoke free market economics. Maybe he's a closet free market supporter, as he was putting it. And that's an interesting point. Is he? Do you believe that? I don't know. So I sit in the fence with Donald Trump, and I would more than love to be proven wrong about him. But I'm really not too sure. Not when he uses arguments against, well, if he has used arguments against things like free trade, etc. Again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I'm more than happy, you know, to listen to that other side of the view. But that's my personal opinion of the whole thing with Donald Trump, etc. So anyway, folks, thank you for watching the video, and I shall talk to you later. Cheers.